Hi, now in this video I want to talk about a specific feature of the scaffolder that enables you as a rental company or a scaffold rental company to be able to process the records that need processing, and also to save time having to look through those that have already been closed or they don't need any action. So the advantage of using the browse function with all these features is that it gives you the opportunity to skip the records which are already clean and settled and only focus your energy and time on those records which demand your actions. And the feature that enables you to decide what needs to be done on that specific record is the verdict on that record. So you might just wake up one day and you decide that that day you are going to be processing your scaffolds pending items. Just go to your navigation interface and click Scaffolds Manager. When you're at this interface, you know that you've got how many scaffolds out? 325 scaffolds, and a collection of clients owe you 281,000 in this example. So how do you process this? How do you know who owes you how much within this amount and who has which scaffolds that need to be returned? You use the browse function. So when you click on browse, this section at the bottom right of the form will always give you the recommended action for that record, and we have got three key statuses. The first one is record closed. So when the record is closed, it means all the scaffolds have been returned, okay, and the balance has been cleared. So that account is clean. It's a closed, clean deal. If you see process record, it means either the scaffolds have not been returned or there is a balance pending, and therefore there is an action that you need to do. And if you see overdue deal, it means the expected dates have been surpassed by a margin. So this button will be enabled for those last two options, overdue deal and process record, because there are actions that you need to perform on that record. But if it is closed, then there is no action you need to perform on that record, and therefore it will be disabled. So we are going to pick one record. Let's just browse using the spin button, and then we will see. I will advise you as the status changes here. So if I click on this, I see this record is closed. If this record is closed, you can look at the details. The first thing is that all the scaffolds have been returned. So you see scaffolds out 20, scaffolds in 20, and you can see the amount that was owed was 95,000. So the first condition has been met. Scaffolds have been returned in full. The second condition is that there is no balance pending, because this status here represents scaffold status or location, scaffold location, okay, and this one talks about financials connected to that hire or that account. So if you see return balance settled, means the scaffolds are back to the yard in full and the amount owed for that hire has been settled. So there is no balance, amount has been fully paid, and all the scaffolds have been returned. So there is nothing else we need to do. So that is why this action is record closed. If you go to the next record, that one is still closed. This is overdue. Overdue means there was a pending action on that record, but the date expected for that action to be performed has long since expired. So this gives you a warning that you need to act on this record immediately. If you look at the order details, you'll see all the scaffolds were returned, yes. So this means the balance was the client delayed with the balance for too long. They were expected to pay 210,000, and this happens when the dates are, you look at the order date, the scaffolds in date, which was 15th of July, and the balance pending. So this was June 5th, and if you look at the order details, this is 15th July. So this is a future date to the order date, okay? But the scaffolds were returned on this date, and 10 days after this, the client was supposed to clear this, or remaining balance to be cleared in 1 week, also to 7 days. But today is, like I told you, today is 5th of August, and that is way past this date of return. So that date of return is this one. this one. So we are now way past 15th of July. We are in August. So that means this balance ought to have already been cleared. And since it has not been cleared, therefore the status is overdue. That means you need to call this client immediately or call the custodian and have them contact the client and clear the balance. You see, you cannot extend because the scaffolds were returned. There are no damages. The only thing you can do is settle this balance of 20,000. Now, let me settle this balance as an act of processing this record. To do that, first of all, I want you to see, this is HN02. I want you to see the status of this record, HN02. So there you have, see, this is HN02, the third one. So you scroll to the left, you can see it's returned, but the balance was partially cleared. And we have a balance of 20,000, and the client so far paid 190. So to sort this out, as you're browsing, you can clear balances. You can call and clear balances as you're browsing the record. So we know this was HN02. So you can just clear this once and for all. Full settlement. Set the balance. Say okay. Now you will notice that the amounts have increased here. And if you go to HN02, the record is now clean. See, the 20,000 has been committed, the return balance cleared. And if you look at the status, the verdict has now changed, because that's what I wanted you to see. See, now the record is closed because all the steps are back and that balance you're worried about has been cleared now. Okay, and now you have this new status. The other thing you need to see is the status. So I'll reset this and then we see process. So let's browse until, so we have the process record. Why do we need to process this record? First of all, note here that this button is disabled because this is closed. If you go to process record, now you can see all the scaffolds were returned. But why do we need to process this? It's because of that balance of 3,000. Okay, it was a return, but it was partial clearance. And the action options is only this settled balance which you can do. The other thing that you may want to investigate, let's see why this you need to process. Those were returned, so this is also a balance. If you look at, I want one where we have got some. So these ones, scaffolds were not returned. Okay, and if you see this process record, you see there is also a balance. So that is why you have got two options. You can either extend them with the balance still there, so the extension will have its own fresh set of payment expected, or you can settle the balance. So you can settle this 50,000, or you can extend this higher, which will raise a different amount invoiced to that extended period. Okay, which other status do I need? So those are the three main statuses and how to settle balances as you browse through the records at any one time, as you're doing your in-house or back office processing of what is pending between your business and your clients. And this browse function enables you to browse through your records. You can also retrieve by status. Anything that here is either return and something that needs to be acted upon, like pending balance or partial clearance, then you will have process record. But if you have balance settled, or you have lost paid for, damage paid for, balance cleared, then this will be, unless this is not returned. If it is extended, this will still process. But if it is returned, then this will be closed. Let's just take an example. See, this is extended higher, but balance is cleared. If you do this, you will find it is still processed. Why? Because you can still extend again. But if you look at this return damage paid for, it's closed, because all have been returned and those which were damaged were paid for, and we are good and clean with this account for the client. So you can see 2020, the ones which were damaged were sorted out. And which ones were those? They were about 10 steps. The client paid 50,000. So this is a clean account. And that's about it for the browse records and understanding the verdicts for each record that needs to be processed. Thank you.